So lovely to be with you. Thank you so much for joining with me. Oh, what a lovely moment. I'm feeling so blessed and inspired and wanting to share about the present experience, about the love and inspiration that's just welling up and making itself known to me. I just feel so absolutely blessed and grateful today. It's April 10th. I'm here in Huntley, Illinois, and I'd like to share about my practice of Lesson 80 in A Course in Miracles workbook and how it relates to a section that I was brought to in the text, Chapter 17, Section 2, called The Forgiven World. And how those two are linked and how Spirit is helping me to really open my mind and accept the truth and do this inner work of waking up to love. So this is about awakening. It's about waking up. It's about undoing the ego, letting go of fear, letting go of what's not true. So as you may or may not know, A Course in Miracles teaches something that's very simple, and yet it's not exactly easy. So the simple teaching is that only what God created is real, that God is love, okay, that God is love. God's just another word for abstract love. It's not held or really stemming from time and space, so the universe, if the universe is a time and space phenomenon, God is outside of that. God doesn't have anything to do with that. So God didn't create the world. He's not responsible for anything that I perceive with my body, basically. The Course teaches that God is love. Love is true. Love is real. And love extends into eternity and is complete and whole in a way that I don't really understand. The reason I don't understand God and love and why I'm not experiencing this abstract blissful state is because I'm convinced something else is true. Yeah, I'm convinced that I was born into a world, and that there's a world, and I live on planet Earth, and that I'm bound to the rules of the world that are having nothing to do with me, that I am the victim of the world. In fact, I'm the victim of my birth and my circumstances surrounding my family, what I was brought into. I'm a victim of everything that happens to me, and yet I sometimes am the victimizer. I inflict pain and so on. So that whole story is rooted in some false beliefs that the enlightenment or the awakening process is designed to undo all of that. So in a practice of A Course in Miracles, I'm getting in touch with that and experiencing just beautiful release and freedom from what is false. And my practice of Lesson 80 today really brought that home for me. I've been going through the workbook very slowly this time around, not giving any concern to the day, the need to move on from one lesson to the next in a day if I don't need to. So I've been taking it nice and slow. So as a result, I'm only on Lesson 80. And that lesson is let me recognize my problems have been solved. And I shared about the previous lesson, Lesson 79, a couple of days ago. And today's practice of this is the second day of practice this lesson. Yesterday I had not a lot of peace around it, really. I could sense that something was off in my mind, that there was resistance to this idea that all of my problems have been solved. This lesson teaches that there is only one problem, and that one problem has one solution, and that the solution has already been given to me, and the solution has actually already been received. I'm just not aware of it. So it's a very joyful lesson. It's a lesson that, today your peace is yours. Today, peace is here with you. You've accepted that you have one problem. You've accepted the one solution that's already been given to you. And we're going to just accept peace. I wasn't feeling it yesterday. And, I did the lesson as best I could. And I sort of moved on and went through my day and saw, I'm like, yeah, I want to hold on to suffering. It's an addiction, and I want to hold on to my separate self. I really don't want to disappear into love just yet. It scares me, and there was just like this pushback I could feel in my mind all day. So, and that was good. It was very useful. But today's very different. Today's very different. I read the lesson. And during the meditative practice of sitting and allowing God to give you peace, allowing love to love you, I was asking, so why is this true? How is it that my one problem, my belief in separation from God, has already been solved? Now, why is that supposed to give me a bunch of peace? So I sat with that, and this beautiful image came in of just a finger pointing to the whole world. There was this image of me looking at the whole world with all the people in it, with all of the objects, with just the whole world. God loves all of you. And there was a knowing in the mind that it wasn't talking about all the different people in the world. I was talking about me and all of my projections. God loves all of you, all of me, all of who I think I am. God loves all of it. As the Course teaches, the world is nothing but a reflection of my thoughts. The world has been projected out from my own mind. And so you hear people say, nothing is outside of me, it's all in my head. Like literally, it's all in my mind. That is what the Course teaches, that this world is an illusion. And it gets generated by the unconscious thoughts that I hold in my mind that I'm afraid of. Okay, these are fearful thoughts. These are thoughts of terror, thoughts of guilt, incredible guilt, thoughts of hatred towards who I think I am, and towards love. That I hate God because I blame him for this experience of pain and worldly suffering that I seem to have. So there's just a lot of blackness and ugliness and suffering there, and that has been projected out onto the has created an appearance of a world, of a time and space world where birth and death and suffering is real, and it gives the appearance that there is a creator that would allow all this stuff to happen. And thus, we tend to blame God. Well, why would God do this and why would God do that? Well, he hasn't. This world is my imagination. God doesn't have an imagination that has anything to do with suffering. So he literally knows nothing about this world. But I know all about it. And it's really all about me. There aren't other people out there to blame. I am the imaginer. I am the dreamer of the dream. I am the illusionist. Literally, it's me. And so that's why I have control over my thoughts and beliefs and my experience. That's why I'm not the victim of anything, because my mind is powerful, and if I go to the source of the world and the pain I feel, which is in my mind, and I ask to see it differently, and I ask for help, this love that just is underneath the surface of fear in my mind will come and help me, and it is helping me. So when I was told that God loves all of you, and there was this finger pointing out at the world, there was this beautiful realization and understanding and acceptance that the world is me. I am one with the world because the world is part of my mind. The world is an effect. The world is a projection of my mind. Mine, not anybody else's. And I project my fears and project my beliefs out to create a world because I'm terrified of my thoughts. I've been terrified of my thoughts. I have believed that I am guilty for separating from God. I believe I'm guilty for imagining that I'm here. I believe that I'm guilty for making up the idea of birth and death, and of time and space, and of gravity, and of suffering, and of a momentary pleasure. Yeah, all those things that have nothing to do with God. I thought them up, and I have taken on an incredible amount of guilt for that. And I was shown that God loves all of it. God loves all of you, meaning every part of me that I think is me, every single scrap of a thought and of a belief. He loves all of me. He loves all of me. So to hear this, God loves all of you, was like me, what I think I've needed to hide, all this shame, pain, hatred, ignorance, everything that I am ashamed to be seen, everything that I hide from anybody I've ever known and God himself. He loves all of it. He loves all of it. And so if the world is a representation of my thoughts, he loves the world. He loves the world. Now, how could that be that God would love something that seems to engender so much suffering? You know, the world is filled with rage and violence and expressions of, extreme hatred. Yeah, and certainly a lot of unkindness and selfishness. So how could that really be true? How could it be true that God loves every bit of it? Well, because I've been so wrong. I keep thinking in separate terms. I keep thinking that God thinks in separate terms. You know, the Course tells us that there's no way that you can think of your Creator as being different than yourself. So how I view myself is how I view God, my Creator, love. So I think love is separated. I think love is earned, not just freely given. I think love is segmented into different kinds of love. I think that love has to be, earned, and if I don't feel I deserve it, then it's not mine. I don't believe that love is something that is just freely given and is a done deal. It's constantly a battle, obtaining it, and then you have to hold on to it, which, we all see that play out in our relationships, right? Friendships, family relationships, intimate relationships, etc. There's always a lot of bargaining and a lot of desperation being displayed in the world because of that. We're looking in the wrong place for love. We're looking in the world for the dream world to tell us that we're loved. But the dream is not about love. God is about love. And I'm seeing so clearly how God sees. God only perceives. God is only one. It's just one. There aren't separate parts. My false belief about love is not true. And this is where salvation lies. This is how I can see the problem in my life as a single problem rather than a series of complex problems. And so it's this beautiful, simple message that God loves all of it. God loves all of the thoughts in my mind because they're false. Because God doesn't think the way I think. I've been mistaken. I've been so wrong. I can't even explain how wrong I've been. I don't even know how wrong I've been. But I'm getting a glimpse of it today, and just this bliss and joy is coming up out of this beautiful experience that Gosh, I'm so glad to be wrong. I'm just so glad I've been wrong. God loves every scrap that I've hidden. Every bit of unworthiness, every bit of jealousy. He's loved all of it because he doesn't know me as separate. I am not who I think I am. I am not a separate body entity. I'm not a woman. I'm not a middle-aged woman. I'm not a person. I'm not going to die someday. This is just a character. This is just really part of my illusion. And that's really what I need to forgive. I need to forgive this small, limited self-identity, this self-image that I've created for myself, that I've tried so hard to be. I've tried to change her. I've tried to fix her. Tried to make her better, and then tried to make her worse. I've abused her, talked trash, and I do it. I do it to the others that seem outside of me. And I've just been mistaken. It's just a simple mistake, and God doesn't see any of that. He just sees what He made, and God is love. Love just sees itself, and I belong to that. I'm not separate from it. I am not this person. I am the wholeness. I am the fullness that is beyond these false beliefs. And that's where my freedom lies. And that's why I'm loved. Because it's only what I believe is what I experience. So I can just change my mind. I can just trust God and really see that I've been punishing myself for no reason at all. None at all. There's no reason to punish anybody or anything. There is such glorious innocence behind everything I see, because only God is true. Only love is true. And that's it. There's no buts, there's no ands, there's no commas, there's nothing. That's it. It's final. It's final. It doesn't change. It hasn't changed. And there's such freedom and joy in that I can really lay down all of my fears, all of these different problems that seem to face me. I can let them all collapse down into one. The problem is that I believe that I was able to leave my source, love. The answer is believing God instead. That's the solution. And the solution, how do I get to that solution? By looking at what is false and just smiling. And just smiling at it, let it be exactly how it is, because it really has nothing to do with me. Me, the higher self. The true self. There are two selves. The false one and the real one. So is there really two selves? No, there's just one. But this process is gradual. This process is gradual for me, this learning, this undoing, unlearning what I've learned, and letting this false self fall away and all the beliefs that go along with it. The world is still out there. I'm still sitting in a chair, seemingly. My phone just made a noise. I'm sitting, near a window, and there's birds and the weather and trees, and there's stuff going on, and I'll be eating today and doing things that bodies do. But I can look at all of that with a smile, because who I really am is complete, and whom I really am is never going to change. So that helps me really understand that everything that changes is not real. Anything that changes, again, is not my problem. It has nothing to do with me, capital M. The risen self will rise up. The risen self. The risen self has absolutely no concern for anything. The risen self is still very much complete and intact, indestructible, indivisible, absolutely one. And God just loves me to pieces. Just loves me, loves me, loves me. And it's safe to let go of these doubts and fears and these nightmarish ideas that seem to play out. And I can smile at these nightmarish ideas as I read the news or look at the paper or hear about another rape or a murder or a war or whatever it is. I can smile at it because it isn't true. On a very basic level, on an existential level, it is not true. And the ego might not like that, but the ego is what I'm here to let go of. It won't survive this process. The ego will not survive the undoing of itself. Yeah? Robin won't survive it. Robin's part of the dream. This computer, this video, this is only just teaching me that it's safe for me to unravel and really let God love me. That's all this is for. It's really trippy just to sit and really just sit with that I'm never talking to anybody but myself. I'm just interacting with my own thoughts, no matter what it is. And that's a person, a place, a thing, an animal, a piece of clothing, a thought in my mind. Whether it seems to be in my mind or seems to be out there, there is no difference at all. It's just can be looked at as all the same. And all the complexity and the neurosis in my mind can be wiped away with that as I learn to accept this. So I'm so blessed, so blessed. This beautiful lesson let me recognize my problems have been solved. I do want to highlight the second paragraph of that lesson. Second paragraph, line 5. You have accepted salvation for yourself by bringing the problem to the answer. That's very important for me to remember. The problem and the answer. There's a problem and there's an answer. And I can't bring the solution into the problem. I must bring the problem to the truth. So what's false, my belief in separation, needs to be brought to the truth. I can't bring eternal love into the dream and try to feel better. That's what we do a lot. That's what I do a lot. Yeah, trying to bring it into my neurosis, trying to bring love into my neurosis and have them kind of make a nice little mixture that I can feel good about. It doesn't really work. It doesn't work at all. So that line to me is very important to remember, to keep this just beautiful clarity intact for me, so I can continue just to forgive and forgive and forgive today, and look on everything with a smile. Bring the problem to the answer. Don't get the order mixed up. It's a huge difference. The ego will tell me it's not a big deal. Dude, it's a big deal. It's everything. One problem, one solution. If I offer the problem to the solution and say, okay, I let go of this problem, I'm willing to see this problem differently, my unworthiness, my guilt, my doubt, my insistence on being right, my hatred of God, my hatred of whatever, and I bring that to the feet of truth, it will be dispelled from me. And that can be done in countless ways, and Spirit helps us all do that in whatever way makes sense. It's like really amazing and cool, and we're so supported. We are just so loved and supported. So I really wanted to bring that forward. And then chapter 17. So I did my lesson 80 this morning. I know I'm all over the place. That's cool. I'm not going to apologize. It's all good. Lesson 80. Thank you, self, for smiling at me. So lesson 80 practice was just so beautiful, so clear, helping me to see that I'm so safe and God just loves me. He just really loves me. Just emotions coming up. I feel so blessed and beautiful. And then I did the Pathways of Light Sunday morning call. It's a study group that Pathways of Light does. I'm a Pathways of Light minister, so I've been doing that call for about 6 years off and on. And of course, what other section would be chosen by the Spirit for us to study? It's chapter 17, section 2 of the text. And it's called The Forgiven World. And it describes my experience today. The Forgiven World is a very short section, and it describes the beauty and the loveliness that I will perceive when I have forgiven. When I have forgiven, when I have looked on the world and judged it not, and completely accepted it as whole, just what I've been talking about, I will perceive loveliness that I can't even comprehend. So Jesus talks about this in this short little section. Can you imagine how beautiful those you forgive will look to you? In no fantasy have you ever seen anything so lovely. Nothing you see here, sleeping or waking, comes near to such loveliness. This section talks about the benefit of forgiveness and what awaits me as I forgive. Again, forgiveness is nothing more than looking on the devastation of the world and being reminded that it is not true. And another way of saying that is to look without judgment. If I have no judgment of something, if I just look at it as a neutral observer, then I am accepting it as how it is. I'm not demanding it be different. I'm not asking it to be different or to placate me or to give me something. I'm not going to take anything from it. I am merely looking and waiting and judging not. That's it. It's all forgiveness is. It's all forgiveness is. It's not a bartering. It's not a trading back and forth of value or guilt. It is just looking without judgment. And so the forgiven world that Jesus talks about here is, he's saying, yeah, look, you don't get it, but this is like, I'm giving you a teaser here. I'm giving you a teaser. This is why you should continue forward with this practice, no matter how hard it might seem to be. It's so small. Your part in this is so small that you're going to get to this bridge. There's a bridge, and you're going to get to it, and it's so tiny. And then when you walk on the bridge, God and love is going to sweep you up and just take you in. And so you just have this little part to play, just this little bit we're asking you to do. And you should do it because it's going to be so amazing. And already feeling this love just washing over me. This call this morning to study this with my mighty companions was absolutely amazing. Like, oh my God, yes, this really is my mind. It's one mind. Everything in the world is reflecting my mind, and what a beautiful reflection today. So I want to point out just a couple of things here. In chapter 17, section 2, paragraph 2, line 3. Nothing is hidden here, for everything has been forgiven, and there are no fantasies to hide the truth. The bridge between that world and this is so little and so easy to cross that you could not believe it is the meeting place of worlds so different. So Jesus talks about the real world. Nothing is hidden here, for everything has been forgiven. This is exactly what I'm experiencing. I have no need to hide my thoughts because my thoughts aren't true if they're not of love. If they don't reflect absolute oneness, then they're not true. And I haven't been judged for keeping them. That's the thing. That's why I don't have to hide them. I don't have to pretend. I don't have to try to do anything here in my life. All I need to do is let go of the need to hide and just let love be. And that's what forgiveness does. It just lets everything be just as it is. It says you're perfect because beneath this appearance is the love of God, and it's there within you, and it can't ever change. This is permanent. Your innocence is permanent. So the forgiven world is innocence revealed. The forgiven world is innocence fully seen and realized and accepted. Nothing is hidden, for everything has been forgiven. Yeah. Down in paragraph 5 of this section, the real world is attained simply by the complete forgiveness of the old, the world you see without forgiveness. The great transformer of perception will undertake with you the careful searching of the mind that made this world and uncover to you the seeming reasons for your making it. So he's going to show us, the Spirit, the teacher within, our intuition shows me why I made this world, why I've projected it. And there's a whole lot of guilt because I've believed my sinfulness to be true. I've believed in separation. Again, that is the problem. Separation, one problem. The solution, forgiveness. The real world is attained simply by the complete forgiveness of the old. And the old is the world you see without forgiveness. The world without forgiveness is, click on the news. Talk to anybody. Look within your mind. Observe your thoughts and your feelings and your emotions, and that is the unforgiven world. If there is any tinge of pain, conflict, contraction, fear, doubt, that is the unforgiven world, because I'm still telling myself that something's gone wrong. Yeah. I don't want to forgive because I'm still convinced that I've found myself in a predicament that I can't get out of. And it's all here to be undone. It's all being revealed. The answer is being shown, and I'm just so grateful. So, of course, I love talking about the Course. I love talking about this healing journey. I could go on and on, but I'm being prompted that we're at closing time. We're at wrap-up time. It's just so amazing how when I ask and I'm sincere, I am helped. I mean, I feel like I just jumped like dozens of levels just in the last few days. Especially seeming, a week ago, there was such unworthiness coming up, and yet out of that upheaval, letting this unworthiness and this self-hatred come up, and this fear of being rejected by God and love, like no one's going to love me, all that stuff. That one problem, letting the problem come up that I'm unworthy of love because I'm guilty, because I believe that I'm separate, and that it really happened. Letting that come up has just benefits. The fruits that come from that, from just letting the darkness come up, is just indescribable. So I'm so grateful to be shown this beautiful lesson today, to have everything, just all the dots connecting in the mind, and then having it, be reflected out. It's just so beautiful. Spirit is doing a really good job of convincing me that it's very safe to let go and to step out of fear, and let go of every excuse that I have held up before the love that I am. I am love. God loves the shit out of me, and if He does for me, He does for you. Like, it is so good. It's all so good and so beautiful and so whole and complete. So I'm thrilled. Thank you so much for this opportunity. Thank you for joining with me. And let's keep talking about this. It's very helpful. It's very, very helpful. Spirit speaks through all of us. Spirit uses this world, this projected world, to reach us. And so bring it on. Bring it on. I'd love to chat with you in any way that you feel comfortable. If you have a question or a comment, or you want to, yell at me or whatever, just let it out, just let's rise up. Let's do this. I love to join about forgiveness. I love to join about the blocks. It is useful to let it all come up and find a way to offer it up so it can be washed away. So I'm here. I'm here for that. I'm signed up for that. I'm on the list. You are too. If you want to get together, let's do this. Let's do this. I would love to do that. So just leave a message in the comments or hit me up on Facebook or something like that. And yeah, let's do this. Let's join. Let's join in purpose. Let's join in the only purpose, the only thing that's actually worthwhile, which is doing this mind work and opening the heart and softening and letting love love us. Just letting love love us. And let's taste some freedom. Let's taste some freedom. Yeah. All right. I love you. 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 Until next time.